Hey guys, welcome from Paris. Wine Paris is in the books, or already in the books. When you're listening to it, it might be in the books. I spent the last 2 days of one of the most exciting wine fairs I've ever been to, but we will come to that in a second. Before that, I want to tell you my fun story of the week because I spent half of the last Sunday in hospital. Ironically, I cut myself on the French press while cleaning it at my Airbnb. And yeah, I got familiar with the health system in France. And a friend told me if you get sick in France, don't let it happen in August or on a Sunday because otherwise you're dead. That wasn't my experience. I had a very nice doctor who took care of me, and finally, after some glues and stitches, they saved my thumb, and I was able to go to Wine Paris because at one second I had the feeling that it might be difficult to attend the fair. Unfortunately, my preparation for the wine fair suffered a bit. I recorded the last episode 233 on how to be perfectly prepared for a wine fair. And I mean, I had to skip some of the points, but in the end, I had a good wine fair. I met some amazing people, discovered some great products, and we will talk about this in this episode. So have fun with episode number 235. Welcome to the Pinot and Pixel podcast episode number 235, the wrap up of Wine Paris. Wine Paris is set to be the best future wine fair when it comes to business, B2B. And this was also my feeling. We get to that in a second because I talked to many exhibitors, to visitors, what their experience was with Wine Paris. Just to give you a general feeling for Wine Paris. Wine Paris is held at Porte de Versailles, and it's called Paris Exposition. It's a huge wine fair area, or generally a fair area, exposition area. And when you are familiar with wine fairs like Vinitaly or ProWein, Wine Paris might feel a bit different. Everything is a bit more, I would say, cozy. It's smaller. It's, in my opinion, it's way better organized, and this was also part of the main feedback. And it was, for me personally, everything was easier to find. The application of Vinexposium that they offer to use is super well made, programmed in a good manner. You are able to scan the tickets of people just to stay in contact with them. You get a whole lot of information about the exhibitors, about the brands who are attending, about the master classes, and you're even able to filter through the exhibitors. So, for example, if you're a winery and you're looking for traders or companies that might be interested in your products, you can even scan by, I don't know, annual production or annual sales amount, something like this. So it is actually exciting. And also, one of not only my feelings was, but also what many people told me, that there were less conversations quantity wise, but the quality was way better. So people feel better prepared when coming to your booth, and everything is way more focused. So if you are in the area of, let's say, Austrian wines, or you're interested in English wines, you find everything in one place. And some people even invested, I would say, a huge part of their brain to separate each hall from each other. And my favorite hall was hall number 5.2, where the main focus was on premiumization, so spirits, alcohol-free wines, and they even had a section with an open bar. This was also one of my favorite discoveries of this fair. So what they basically did is, imagine a hall that is dedicated to spirits and alcohol-free products. So crafted products, dealcoholized wine, dealcoholized beer, but also like tea, sparkling, kombucha, kefir, and distilled products that have never had any alcohol. And sometimes if you think you want to try products in a different way, for example, mixed in a cocktail, you can go to the open bar. And there was plenty of bars from Paris, so local bars with bartenders, with sommeliers who really just express what they can do with the product. And I had some amazing alcohol-free cocktails. I got some of the answers of people. Oh, this is alcohol free. Well, then I go to the other booth. This is totally fine, guys, because there were also cocktails full strength with full strength products. But it was just exciting to see how they integrated local bars and restaurants to the whole fair. And in addition, for me, the focus on spirits, either with or without alcohol, was so big that you were able to find what you were looking for. And I mean, I was mostly focused on alcohol-free products because this is currently part of my business, or at least the biggest part of it is alcohol-free. And there was the whole range available from many different countries in Europe and also from abroad, talking about alcohol-free products, de-alcoholized wines and beer, kefir, tea, kombucha, and some of my favorite brands where either a Michelin star chef or restaurant or sommelier was involved, or at least the brand is focused on serving high quality products to gastronomy, to HoReCa in general. And I mean, there is a growing interest, also failable within the visitors, because they get that this is not a trend anymore, but it should be part of the culture. So not only the people who were talking about the fair were excited about alcohol free, also there was a huge part in the masterclass section offered by the wine fair. So there were masterclasses talking about the future of Nolo, production methods, and it was really exciting to see how well they were prepared for the visitors, having, I don't know, in place surveys. What do you think about alcohol-free wine? What do you think about the products? Have you ever tasted it? And what do you think how expensive it was? And there were some exciting panels with experts from the industry, usually in French, but even though the presentation was in French, they had headphones where it was simultaneously translated to English. So accessible for almost everyone. You were able to ask questions. It was really exciting to see what is currently going on in the alcohol-free area. Same with spirits. Huge part of Hall 5.2 was spirits. Many interesting products from all over the place. I mean, talking about whiskey, vodka, tequila, which is booming. Many companies from Asia and their specific styles of alcoholic products, sake, whiskey, Baijiu, and even Korean brands I tasted, which were quite interesting as well. So if this is your focus, spirits and Nolo, this might be the fair of choice. When it comes to wine, I have the feeling that the structure, the scheme of the fair was well prepared, well planned. There is a whole, and there's a huge hall number 7 on 3 floors dedicated to French wine, where you find Burgundy, Bordeaux, Champagne, small producers, big producers. There's a lot of like grower champagnes and small high quality producers. So if you're looking for this, you will also find your products. And of course, the big brands are also there. And there's a lot to discover, guys. So, and in fact, talking about the size of the fair, it is big. There is plenty of visitors, plenty. I think there's several 10,000 visitors, but it feels like everything is really close by. You don't have to walk for ages to get to the next booth. And yeah, the organization is actually really good. And when it comes to the general feeling of the fair, what visitors and exhibitors told me is that they were way more satisfied with Wine Paris because the fair is better organized. The kind of information that is available is way better. They are treated in a better way, and the communication before the fair and during the fair is also better compared to other fairs. And in addition, it's more affordable, guys. In Paris, you will always find a restaurant to go to without reservations because it's from Monday to Wednesday, and there is a spot where you can go and have dinner with friends, with colleagues. In addition, hotel prices are way cheaper. I mean, my hotel was about 70 quid a night, and even talking to other people, it's not like spending 500-600 € a night just for a hotel room. And imagine being here with a team of 5 to 10 people. You spend a fortune of money when you go to a wine fair like Düsseldorf, and even though they install this new platform for affordable hotels, it still feels way too expensive. And in addition, there is this cultural aspect. I mean, the area of Cologne, of Aachen, of Düsseldorf is very historical and interesting as well. But when it comes to, let's say, the city center and what you can do beside the fair, Paris is way more interesting. And this is not me talking, this is just the compact feedback of several people I was talking to. And this is not a recommendation for Wine Paris and against ProWein, for example, or Vinitaly. In the end, it all depends on your peer group. So let's say if your customers are people who are more focused on the German market and they have been in the industry for 30 years, ProWein still might be their fare and in the end your choice. But compared to Wine Paris, it's just a different approach. So if your peer group is more internationally, or you want to grow in the French market, you want to see what is going on besides your company, Wine Paris might be the better choice. And of course, looking at the budget, Wine Paris feels way more affordable. My personal opinion is that just looking at the organization, the communication before the fair starts, during the fair, in place, what the application is about, is able to do, to serve, and what information is available at the application, well, yeah, I would definitely prefer Wine Paris. Nevertheless, I will be in Düsseldorf as well, and maybe also in Italy. It really depends on what you are currently looking for. But I had the feeling, what people just told me over the last 3 days, that in the future there will be a bigger focus on Wine Paris rather than on ProWein. So take your decision, whatever your peer group might be, or your target group, your future customer or your existing customers. In the end, a fair usually also is a place where you catch up with colleagues, where you meet friends, where you just have a chat with existing customers, and of course, where you try to find new customers. If there is something I would expect for the next Wine Paris is that they try to keep the master classes more on the educational part rather than on the advertorial part, because especially with some keynote speakers I was listening to, I had the feeling that this is more like a brand presentation. A keynote for me is something that gets me excited, that makes me rethink my opinion or opens new ways of thinking, something like this. But I went to 3 keynotes and they always gave me the feeling that they were there to represent the brand, talk about the brand, the portfolio, and yeah, just marketing in the end. So if there might be something to complain about, quote unquote, then it is not only the selection but also the briefing of the keynote speakers. Then there is this general question I'd like to add. Is a wine fair something that I should consider as a brand? And it all comes down to the peer group, to the target market again. So looking through the eyes of a visitor, I would say it really depends on what market you're focused on. So if you want to get into the domestic market of the UK, for example, London Wine Fair might be your fair to choose. If you are interested in the German market and the presence of big brands and of like well-established brands in the wine industry, ProWein might be your choice. And if you're looking for just like if you just have an international approach, you're looking for new ways and the higher quality business contacts, Wine Paris might be your fare. Same with Vinitaly. Vinitaly is focused on the Italian market, or if you are a brand or just a person of interest of the Italian market, then Vinitaly is your fare because it really gives you a perfect overview over the Italian market. And even though Italy wasn't used to de-alcoholized or alcohol-free products in the past, there will be a bigger focus in the future, I'm pretty sure. I talked to some Italian exhibitors and they all know that recently they changed the law and de-alcoholization will be allowed. So more and more people that are business focused switch or at least expand their business portfolio, their business case to alcohol-free products. It's just pretty exciting actually. And on the other side, you have the exhibitors. And if you're an exhibitor and you had to choose one fair because there's just budget for one, I would probably recommend to go to Wine Paris. But in the end, this is what another colleague told me. They have been on Wine Paris for 4 years now, and they are still present at ProWein because the biggest customers still attend ProWein, and in the future they will have to take the decision rather to either be on both or just focus on Wine Paris. And this is basically the decision you have to take. I won't give you any recommendation for that because it really depends on what you are looking for, what your budget is, and what you're interested in. What I can say is Wine Paris was probably the best fair I've been to so far. I met new customers, I made new friends, I met some existing friends and colleagues. It was great to have a chat. It was perfectly organized. It was way cheaper to attend the fair. It's absolutely amazing to be in Paris again. I love the city, and there is so much to explore, to discover in culture, in art. There's plenty of great places and museums to discover. And what I really like is the metro system of Paris. It's so fast, it's so well organized. It's actually quite cheap. So the day ticket is, what is it, 12 euro or so? And also, depending on what airport you're coming from, it's also quite easy to get to the city center and back to the airport. Well, so I will definitely be in Wine Paris again next year, especially because I had the feeling that the focus on my current main topic, alcohol-free, the alcohol-free industry, is the biggest so far in the industry, at least in Central Europe. So Wine Paris, I'll see you again in 2026. This is it, guys. Short and briefly, the update on the Wine Paris Fair. There is more to come, and I guess there will be some news, especially about numbers of visitors and the size of Wine Paris in 2025 in the next weekly update. So have a great week, guys. Stay healthy, and we see you on Saturday with the weekly update. Ciao, ciao.